galit na naman sa akin. Sabi niya, ayan ka naman, hater ka naman, ganun. Excuse me, guys. Let's just be honest. The credit should not go to BBM. The credit should go to the Philippines. And for us not having another Digong as our president, right? And as BBM correctly said, in fairness to him, it's also a recognition of the fact that the Philippines is facing a huge, huge challenge dyan sa West Philippine Sea, and there's a possibility of conflict and war. So, in fairness kay BBM, at least, if you take it on face value, honest siya, nare-recognize that this is not about him, this is about the importance of the Philippines. Having said that, in fairness naman kay BBM, I think he did well with what he had. Right? I think he did very well with what he had. If you look at his speech, he emphasized yung strategic agencies of smaller countries. He emphasized that ang Pilipinas ang biktima dito, hindi tayo aggressor. He emphasized na ang China po ay nag-challenge ng mga iba't ibang bansa, hindi lang isang bansa, multiple countries sa West Philippine Sea. Ngayon, medyo tahimik yung iba dahil takot, dahil binayaran, whatever. That doesn't take away from the fact na ang bully sa West Philippine Sea ay hindi Pilipinas, hindi Amerika. Alright, ang bully, ay Amerika bully sa ibang bagay. Sure, we can have a long conversation about that. Pero pagdating dito sa Asia, pagdating dito sa West Philippine Sea, ang bully po dito ay China. So he made that very clear. And he also made it clear na hindi mo pwede sabihin na mas maliit na bansa ay tuta lang na Amerika, ang mga mas maliit na bansa ay ano lang, pwede mo lang sakupin, pwede mo lang bullying, pwede mo lang bastusin. No, you have to respect smaller countries because smaller countries will fight for themselves. So in fact, BBM did not only fight for the Philippines, he also fought for all smaller and medium-sized countries. Kaya dami natuwa dun sa kanyang interventions. So there, he deserves credit. And whoever wrote his speech, whoever worked on his speech, whoever helped him with the speech, and in fairness to BBM, this is someone who has been dealing with world leaders since nung bata pa siya. After all, once upon a time, he was the president in waiting. Diba? Kasi, aminin natin, the Marcos dictatorship was a semi-monarchy. Right? At si BBM was like the crown prince, right? Kaya nung batang-bata pa siya, 20s pa lang yata siya, na-meet niya na si Mao Zedong. Kasama niya yung nanay niya, 1974, pumunta sila sa China to normalize bilateral ties, etc. So this is a guy who understands international politics at the psychological and personal level in ways that no other Filipino president in recent memory has had, right? Although I would say Ramos was still my favorite when it comes, or is still my favorite when it comes to Philippine foreign policy matters. But in fairness, I think you have to give credit to Marcos for the content of his speech, for the delivery of the speech, for the time of the speech, and making the most out of itong platform na meron tayo. Now, let me tell you guys how serious the situation is, guys. Pagdating sa West Philippines, and that's why kanina, sorry, medyo late tayo nag-start and all, and I had to download some materials. Kasi we have to look at this, guys. Baka ito yung yung naiwan na
Yes.
Oo. Pinaiwan nung So guys, let me give you an idea about what is the situation we're facing right now, guys. Okay. So, kung ikaw ang president ng Pilipinas, these are the things you're gonna look at. These are the maps you're gonna look at, guys. Okay? These are the maps you're gonna look at. 1 second lang. Okay. These are the maps, guys, you're gonna look at. Okay. Ito yung map ng China. Tingnan, ang laki ng China. At yung mga dotted na yellow lines, guys, yung dotted na yellow lines, ito yung mga, okay, yung dotted yellow lines na nakikita niyo dyan, ito yung mga missile bases, okay, at saka key military facilities ng China. Okay? Ito yung mga rocket force bases ng China. Alright? Spread all across China. Kita niyo dito, guys. Okay. Malaki ang China. Dami niya mga rocket force bases, no? Now, let me show you the implication of all of those rocket force bases in terms of the range that it gives to China. Right? In terms of the range that it gives to China. Sorry, guys. Ayusin natin ito. Para makita niyo yung itong graphics na to, yung mga nanood sa atin ng live. Alright? Alam niyo na, mahal na mahal ko kayo. Kaya ayusin natin ito. Alright? I'm just telling you guys, gaano kahirap maging presidente. Kasi lahat ng mga bagay na yan, you're gonna have briefings about the state of affairs of the world and minsan nakakatakot talaga. Okay? Oops. Okay. Ayusin natin ito. Alright. Oops. Sorry. Okay, ito. Okay. Don't worry, upload ko rin yung finalist version ito. Ito, going back to this. Okay, so, these are all the rocket force bases of China. And thanks to Financial Times, by the way, doon natin kinuha itong... ito. Okay. Now, let me show you the implication of having all of those rocket force bases in terms of... Sorry, tanggalin. Okay, so these are the rocket force bases of China. Ang dami nila, malawak, spread across the country, right? So, ang hirap, it's hard to take them out if ever they get activated. But more importantly, let's look at, guys, yung in terms of yung range na binibigay nila sa China. Okay? Don't worry, guys, hindi lang ito dahil usapin ng gano'ng kagaling ang China, blah, blah. I'll show it to you bakit mahalaga ang Philippines. Okay, so this is the scary picture. This is the range that these rocket force bases give to China. So, yung nakikita yung yellow, so yung gray area, that's the map of China. Alright? The gray area is the map of China, guys. Okay? The gray area is the map of China. Yan. Kita nyo? Yung yellow, yun yung range na binibigay ng mga missile systems na ito sa China. So, tingnan nyo ang lawak. Buong Pilipinas ay covered sa missile range ng China. Okay? Buong Pilipinas ay covered ng missile range ng China. Buong Taiwan ay covered. Hindi buong China, buong Korea ay covered. And malaking parte ng Japan. Nakikita niyo dito sa base na yan. Lahat ng yellow na yan. Alright? Okay, so that gives you an idea of how powerful yung range of missiles of China are. And dahil malawak ito, spread across the country, in an event of war, pag binomba mo yung dalawa, marami pang doon sa taas. So, ang dami mong kailangan bombayin to take out these missile systems. Right? So, just look at the range of missiles they have. Now, let me show you anong problema dito. Alright? For the other side. So, it's not like walang kwenta yung kabila in the sense na walang laban. Okay? While it's true that the United States is far, far away from United States mainland is far, far away from Asia, remember that Guam is part of the United States. So actually, the United States also have its missile systems. Ito yung US Army's Dark Eagle hypersonic weapon. Alright, so hypersonic siya, ibig sabihin, faster than the speed of light. So yung green na nakikita niyo dyan, guys, yun naman yung range ng America's missile system, right, na up to 3,000 kilometers. So ang haba ng range niya. Except, medyo malayo ang Guam. So even yung outer range ng missile system ng US, umabot lang dun sa mga pinaka-tip ng China's southern and southeastern shores. So hindi niya covered yung ibang bases, rocket force bases ng China all across China. Alright? So dito nakikita yung problema. China has the whole Southeast Asia, each parts of Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Korea, parts of Japan with its range. US has within its range huge part of the Western Pacific, but very small sliver, right, of China's territory in short. So, pwede niya tamaan yung mga Chinese warships kung dadaan sila malapit sa Taiwan, kung dadaan sila malapit sa Pilipinas. Pero hindi niya matamaan yung mga nasa loob pa ng China. Alright? So, this is where you see the kind of an asymmetry, whereby this is the range that China has versus the range that the United States has. So, nakikita niyo dito yung difference, guys. Diba? So, green, yun yung sa US, and then yung yellow naman sa China. So, there's an asymmetry there in terms of in our part of the world. Of course, malakas ang US pag globally titignan mo yan. But now, things get more interesting, mga kamets. Because, hindi naman ito labanan lang ng US versus China. The big difference between US and China is that US has treaty allies in the region and key partners, which happen to be, well, with the exception of the Philippines, the most developed countries in Asia. Korea, Japan, Australia, and obviously, we're also looking at the case of Taiwan, which is not a formal treaty ally because of one China policy, so no more my mutual defense. But nevertheless, of course. So if you look at Taiwan, maliit siya, pero may laban din siya. So this is a picture of the range of Taiwan's, right? Taiwan's missile systems. So, because Taiwan is closer to China, even if yung missile system niya is only up to 2,000 kilometers yung range na, it covers significant parts of China. In fact, it covers practically the most developed and important industrial regions of China. And siguro kalahati ng mga rocket force bases ng China. But not all. Because yung mga ibang rocket forces ng China ay medyo deep into the interior China, so baka hindi niya maabutan, diba? But nevertheless, if you look at this map, Taiwan has a significant range, right? Has a significant range when it comes to its missile system. So what's the point with this missile system? The idea is, kung pwede kita tamaan at pwede mo akong tamaan, then medyo magdalawang isip ka na tamaan mo ako, diba? Now, ibang usapan na yung nuclear weapons. Pwede natin pag-usapan later on. But we're talking about conventional weapon systems and capability here, right? Now, that's Taiwan. So through Taiwan, I mean, US, Taiwan together, obviously in an event of war, they're gonna team up. They have medyo may konting laban sila. Pero ang maging issue talaga dito mga kameta is if US allies will allow the United States to place also missile systems sa kanilang territory. And this is where, guys, things get very tricky because ang tanong ngayon is, papayag ba ang Pilipinas na magpalagay tayo ng American missile defense systems? Because kung nilagay nila sa Pilipinas, ayan na, malapit na siya sa China at pwedeng sakupin ng China yan. In fact, US also has a number of other options. Alright. Japan also has a number of options. So I'll just show you guys also sa Japan. So there's Japan and then there's US. Okay. So as you know, ang US din po has a number of bases in Japan, right? Pakita rin natin ito, yung mga Okinawa. Okay. So may mga bases ang US. So that means actually US has two options here to match China on a missile-to-missile kind of game. One is etong mga dito makikita niyo guys. Etong mga military bases na meron sila sa Okinawa. So far, ang meron lang mga ito ay meron silang Patriot surface-to-air missiles na Type 12 anti-ship missiles with a range of 200 kilometers, right? Meron din silang Tomahawks, pero ito ay madideploy next year pa, diba? But if these islands can host even more advanced weapon systems, then talagang masasakop nila huge parts of China. So that's one option for the US or the other side, or kalaban ng China. The other option is the allies like Japan themselves develop also their missile capability systems. So what's gonna happen here is, so nakita natin ngayon, for instance, Japan is also developing its own missile defense capability. Medyo maliit pa so far. Yung pinakita ko kanina is Japan. Sorry about that. So that's Japan. Gumagamit sila ng American Patriot missile systems. But they can develop more, or they can deploy more advanced American systems. Or the other thing that could happen here is US also could deploy more and more advanced weapon systems. So for instance, the US could deploy ground launch precision strike missiles na range of over 500 kilometers. Now, this gives you at least strike capability against Chinese warships or submarines operating the area. But if they even deploy more advanced weapon systems, then boom, lalong makakover nila yun. So it's about China on one hand, and then Taiwan, Japan, Philippines, wala pang Philippines, Guam, US bases in Japan. But as I said, ang mahalaga din dito yung Pilipinas dahil tingnan niyo naman guys yung geography natin. Sobrang lapit natin sa Taiwan. Right? Alright. Ito guys, pakita ko lang dito. At kung magpalagay ang Pilipinas, okay, ng American missile systems, whether atin to or indirectly sa kanila, then ang laki ng implications ito. Ayan, natuwa na yung TikTok sa akin na. Diretso na yan sa kabila. Ito. So this is the map of the Philippines, right? And tingnan mo yung mga EDCA bases and Philippine bases, etc. Especially EDCA bases. Now, kung pumayag ang Pilipinas ng pagpalagay ng mga advanced missile systems ng US dito sa EDCA bases natin, and then mag-project ka ng at the very least 1,000 kilometers, boom, ang dami mong ang laki ng range mo, at pasok na pasok yung huge parts of China. So now you guys see bakit medyo panic mode ang China sa EDCA. Bakit medyo panic mode ang China nung balikatan time nagpadala ng US ng Typhoon missile systems dito? Bakit nagpanic ng China ng big time, guys, nung nagparamdam tayo na magpabukas tayo ng mga base natin sa norte na malapit sa Taiwan. At gumawa tayo ng mga exercises, especially there was a recent exercise sa Cagayan na malapit sa Taiwan, no? So, lahat na yan ay tinitignan ng China because China currently has a conventional military advantage, right? Not totally. There are other areas that we can talk about, space, air, whatever. But one area of conventional military advantage they have is their missile systems range. At Philippines, because of our geography, saktong-sakto tayo, and because we're a US treaty ally, whoa, we could change the equation, no? Now, obviously, we can have a long conversation, guys, on kung saan may na-comment na yung China maglagay ng defense system sa missile defense system sa Davao. Wag naman kayo ganun, guys. Wag naman kayo ganun, guys. Okay, wag na naman bulihin si tatay. Tsaka hindi naman lahat ng taga Davao ay taga Maladigong, alright? Marami tayong kaibigan dyan sa Davao, okay? Okay. So, do you get now why the Philippines is so important? Dito sa missile range game na tinitingnan natin, parang Pilipinas lang yung missing link eh. Pag nilagay ng Amerika ng missile system ang Pilipinas, puya ka siya, 'di ba? 'Di ba? Big time ang usapan dito, 'di ba? So, and that means not only China's naval assets, but also, guys, yung China's rocket force, military bases, all of them guys could be in potential jeopardy. All right? So malaking bagay 'yan. Ayan na naman tong TikTok na to, ha. Bully talaga ng TikTok na to. Oh, binablock na naman ako ng TikTok na to. Nahuli ko na naman sila. We have detected inactivity. Seryoso, paano ako naging inactive? Ang dami natin ginagawa dito. Talagang TikTok na to, ha. Huli kayo. Now, obviously, there's so much more going on there. Ayan na naman, no. Tingnan mo yung ginagawa ng TikTok, guys. Tingnan nyo. Nag-hot daw yung phone ko. Ayan, see? Just when, guys, I'm analyzing all of these West Philippines, etc., biglang ino-overheat nila yung phone ko. Alright? It never happens with any other thing. It only happens here, okay? Whenever. Sobrang hindi suspicious at all. But let me discuss also this thing. No, there are other areas na nakakabahala din when it comes to regional geopolitics. There's a submarine warfare game. So, yung isa pang sinasabi natin dito is, baka kailangan ng Pilipinas not only buy its own submarines, so that would take 10-15 years if ever we have money, but also allowing US our friends to put ISR or surveillance systems para alam natin saan gumagalaw, saan pupunta yung mga Chinese submarines, yung mga dumadaan sa ating mga karagatan. More than that, ang China po ay naglalagay din ng mga sonar systems, tracking systems, kung saan sila nagpa-plant, so that allows China also to track American submarines, Western submarines, Japanese submarines. So, ang dami nangyari dyan. And a huge part of this game, guys, is happening exactly in our own backyard. Sa Luzon Strait, sa Philippine Sea especially, a lot of that is happening. So these are the major factors that will determine who will win a war if ever it goes down to that, God forbid, right? And deterrence is about showing to China na if ever they get into war, they're gonna pay a very big price. So deterrence is about raising the cost of that potential war. There's also this drone mesh network that China and others are building. So, daming factors yan. But if you look at it, what really makes the Philippines very important is our location, guys. If there are American missile systems in the Philippines, etc., guys, immediately it will put China also within the range, including mainland China, including their bases there. It also, if America also expands their presence, it also allows them to counter China's increasing surveillance and tracking capability in this part of the world. So, yung guys, these are the things we're looking at right now. Lagay ko nga yung phone dyan, baka mamaya kung ano mangyari dyan, nakakatakot. So, this is the thing, guys, we're looking at right now. So, that's why sobrang mahalaga ang Pilipinas. Kahit sino bang presidente natin, lalong-lalo na kung yung presidente natin ay bukas sa playing the high-stakes game. Bukas sa making the Philippines a key factor. Bukas sa making sure the Philippines gets the most out of the current situation instead of being just a passive victim. Alright? Kaya nga, foreign policy now matters in the Philippines more than ever, guys. Okay? More than ever. Okay? So, that's what I'm telling you guys. You have to pay attention to these things. So, habang siguro yung iba sa inyo nagtitiktok, ito yung mga tinitignan natin, guys. Ito yung mga tinitignan ko. Itong mga latest developments na yan sa missile defense systems, sa submarine developments, ganun. And I'm not even a military expert or anything like that, but I can understand the basics here. And I can understand perhaps one big reason why China is reacting the way it is, the way they're bullying us and all of that, the next level, is precisely because they're scared. They're scared because they want to have that conventional superiority in terms of missile systems. Because if they maintain that conventional superiority and then build their invasion and projection of power capability, then they're gonna invade Taiwan. And if they invade Taiwan, kawawa tayong lahat. Maging kapitbahay natin sila immediately and most likely bobombayin nila lahat ng mga volleys and mga bases natin dyan sa norte. So that's why we have to proactively engage in this game of deterrence. I'll keep it there, guys. Pag-usapan natin opposition maybe more next week. Medyo napagod na tayo. But this was really a comprehensive discussion. These maps, again, are from the Financial Times. I suggest you guys check it. It's a fantastic report by Financial Times. I'll post the link down there. This is the article. The battlegrounds that that will determine the future of war. No, if ever there'll be a war. So this is by fantastic report. I suggest you guys check. There's another one or two other article, including one by Wall Street Journal, also visualized, that shows you the importance of what we're looking at. Okay, so no, I disagree na the Philippines only has geography to offer. I said we have a good geography. Now, kaya parati ko sinasabi na hindi pwede na hanggang taga-ano lang tayo ng renta-renta lang tayo ng mga ano. We have to get something in exchange here. We have to make sure na in the meantime, hindi lang tayo nag-host ng weapon systems ng ibang country. We have to make sure we get our own weapon systems. We have to make sure that we have a share of those most advanced weapon systems. We have to make sure that we leverage our alliances, we leverage our locations to get concessions from China. And so kaya nga, remember, my suggestion was, the Philippines can easily go to China and say, ganito, the more you bully us in the West Philippine Sea, the more we'll allow others to put weapon systems that is pointing at you and making it harder for you to invade Taiwan or for you have to have any kind of conventional superiority. So maybe gusto mong pakibahid dyan sa West Philippine Sea, ayusin mo sarili mo, and baka ayaw mo rin ng sumugod ng Taiwan para wala ng gulo, wala ng problema. Otherwise, kami, magre-react din kami accordingly, magre-respond din kami accordingly. So actually, this gives us diplomatic leverage. Not to mention, dun naman sa ating mga aliado, pwede natin sabihin sa kanila, hindi pwede na maglagay-lagay lang dyan, tapos taga-hosting lang kami. We have to have a piece of the pie in terms of having also access to those weapon systems, those capability, and having our own strategic autonomy. Yan ang pinag-usapan natin. On that note, thank you very much sa inyong lahat, mga kameta. Thank you so much. I really appreciate itong tuloy-tuloy na supportan niyo sa atin. Thank you for subscribing to our different channels. Thank you for the likes, for comments, mga nagbigay ng sticker, baka naman, yung mga nagbigay ng stars, baka naman. Ayan, sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta sa atin in different ways, please feel free to recommend us, especially mga ibang mga iba dyan na gusto nilang libreng lecture once in a while, di ba? Baka naman, di ba? So please, continue lang yung supportan nyo para lang we can do what we can do and para lang ma-inspire din kami to do what we can do, including, of course, ito yung mga different forms of podcast, not only over Zoom but also in person. I-edit ko pa yung mga ginawa natin with Ronald Llamas kanina. On that note, please abangan nyo sa Monday naman, interview natin si Dr. Colin joining us from Singapore. Pag-usapan natin military affairs, pag-usapan natin Singapore foreign defense policy, pag-usapan natin Shangri-La Dialogue. And hopefully we'll have Justice Carpio also with us again. Please also check yung mga other interviews natin with Justice Carpio, including on my show on One News sa TV5 sa The View from Manila. On that note, thank you very much. God bless and have a blessed Sunday with your family and loved ones. Thank you.